Imagine a world shrouded in silence where cities once bustled. In the chilling aftermath of a nuclear war, the once vibrant streets are now mere shadows of their former selves, lined with the remnants of what was once civilization. Buildings, skeletal and charred, stand as grim markers of human folly. As we traverse this hypothetical wasteland, we see not only the desolation of urban areas, but also the profound disruptions inflicted upon the natural world. Forests scorched, rivers polluted, and skies darkened by the nuclear winter that follows the fiery chaos, painting a stark picture of ecological despair. This devastation knows no borders. The nuclear aftermath envelops the globe, affecting all forms of life. Crops fail, temperatures plummet, and the very fabric of life hangs by a thread, challenging the resilience of every species that calls this planet home. This is not a scene from a dystopian novel, it's a potential reality we must understand. When the bombs fall, the damage does not end with the explosion. The aftermath of a nuclear war extends far beyond the immediate devastation of the blasts themselves. The environment, a silent casualty, suffers profound and prolonged consequences. Imagine a world where the sky is shrouded in a toxic veil, a scenario often described by the chilling term nuclear winter. This theoretical phenomenon predicts a drastic drop in global temperatures caused by soot and debris from nuclear explosions blocking sunlight. Environmental scientist Dr. Emily Carter explains, nuclear fallout releases radioactive particles into the atmosphere. These particles descend to the Earth, contaminating water sources, soil, and air. This contamination can lead to catastrophic changes in ecosystems. Water, once a source of life, becomes a carrier of radioactive material, affecting all forms of aquatic and terrestrial life. Agriculture faces a dire threat under these conditions. Radioactive isotopes can be absorbed by the soil, transferring to crops and eventually to the animals and humans that rely on them for sustenance. The impact on agriculture could lead to severe food shortages, further exacerbated by climatic changes due to nuclear winter, adds Dr. Carter. The air we breathe is not spared either. Polluted by radioactive fallout, the air quality deteriorates, increasing the risk of respiratory issues and other health complications over time. The Earth, poisoned and barren, struggles to support life. Radiation knows no boundaries. In the wake of a nuclear war, the world would grapple with a public health crisis of unprecedented scale. The invisible menace of radiation would not only decimate cities, but seep into the very fabric of ecosystems, affecting everything in its sinister path. Imagine the air, water, and soil infused with radioactive particles. Public health officials warn that the immediate aftermath would see a surge in radiation sickness. Symptoms range from acute nausea and fatigue to devastating effects on the immune system, leaving individuals vulnerable to a host of infections and diseases. But the ordeal doesn't end there. Long-term exposure to radiation dramatically increases the risk of cancers, particularly thyroid and bone cancer, as well as leukemia. These are not swift adversaries. They linger and progress stealthily, burdening not just the afflicted, but the entire fabric of healthcare systems striving to cope with the surge. Furthermore, the genetic blueprint of humanity itself could be at stake. Mutations caused by radiation exposure can transcend generations, leading to congenital disabilities and new genetic disorders, painting a grim picture of the future of human health. The strain on global health resources would be colossal. Hospitals and medical facilities, already struggling to cope with the immediate casualties, would find themselves overwhelmed as they deal with the long-term consequences of exposure. The infrastructure, potentially crippled by the blasts, would need miraculous efforts to function amidst the chaos. A legacy of illness shadows the survivors. The fallout is not just radioactive, it's political and social. In the aftermath of a nuclear conflict, the world map doesn't merely change, it transforms entirely. Imagine a scenario where once powerful nations are now grappling with internal chaos and a precipitous decline in global influence. The balance of power shifts unpredictably as emerging nations and alliances rise from the rubble, seeking to fill the power vacuums left behind. Dr. Helena Merkovich, a noted expert in geopolitics, suggests that post-nuclear war, the concept of superpowers might become obsolete. We could witness a multipolar world where regional powers gain more significance. This shift could lead to a more fragmented but potentially cooperative international order, as countries realize the futility of solitary supremacy in the face of universal devastation. Moreover, the refugee crisis following such a catastrophe would be unparalleled. Millions, if not billions, of people would be displaced, crossing borders in search of safety, food, and shelter. This mass migration could either foster a new era of international solidarity or exacerbate existing tensions between nations, straining resources and goodwill to their breaking points. As national borders blur under the weight of shared challenges, the traditional notions of sovereignty and territory might take a backseat to broader, more pressing collective needs. The urgency to address environmental fallout, nuclear winter, and humanitarian crises could pave the way for unprecedented forms of cooperation. Perhaps in this new context, global governance could evolve, driven by necessity, to manage resources and coordinate aid more effectively than ever before. Yet amidst this potential for cooperation lies a stark reality: the breakdown of international norms and treaties. Trust once broken is hard to rebuild. Nations might become more insular, protective of what little they have left, or alternatively more open to forming new alliances that promise mutual survival. In the ashes of the old world, new lines are drawn. Beyond the statistics lie the stories of human suffering. Imagine a man in Tokyo, once a vibrant city full of life. Now, he walks through the remnants of his neighborhood, every step stirring up ashes of what was once his community. His family's photographs, heirlooms, and memories are reduced to dust. The trauma of loss is etched deep into his soul, a constant reminder of what was and what could have been. Halfway across the world, in a small village near Moscow, a young woman stares at the empty spaces where her children used to play. The radiation has left the playground barren, a silent testament to the invisible danger that lingers. Her nights are haunted by dreams of the past, and her days are consumed by the struggle to find clean water and uncontaminated food. The psychological toll is immense, each day a battle against despair. In the United States, a community in New York gathers to share stories of those they've lost. A local church spared by the blast but not the fallout becomes a sanctuary where people come together seeking solace and understanding. Here, amidst the shared grief, there is a flicker of resilience. They organize, they support one another, and slowly they rebuild not just buildings but the very fabric of their community. Down in Rio de Janeiro, a street artist uses the charred walls of the city as his canvas, painting murals of hope and resilience. Each stroke is a defiance of the devastation, a reclaiming of cultural identity. Through art, he processes his trauma and connects with others who find comfort and inspiration in his work. These stories of survival are not just tales of sorrow and loss, they are powerful examples of human resilience and adaptability. Communities across the globe, though battered, find ways to heal, to reconnect with their heritage, and to forge paths toward recovery. Each number in the death toll has a name, a story, a vanished future. From the depths of despair, we look to a horizon of hope. In the aftermath of nuclear conflict, the path forward is not just a return to normalcy, but an urgent journey towards a future where such devastation can never occur again. Across the globe, initiatives and movements are gaining momentum, powered by a collective commitment to nuclear disarmament. The first beacon of this journey is the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, a groundbreaking international agreement that came into force just a few years ago. This treaty represents a significant global commitment to eliminate nuclear arsenals, setting a legal standard against their use or threat of use. Nations that have signed and ratified this treaty are not only renouncing their own nuclear arms, they are also compelling others to follow suit. Policymakers play a pivotal role in this narrative. By forming policies that prioritize diplomacy and conflict resolution over military interventions, they can help de-escalate tensions and foster a global culture of peace. Legislation that limits the production and renewal of nuclear arsenals is also crucial, as it not only prevents proliferation but also signals to the world a serious commitment to disarmament. Scientists and technologists contribute by developing technologies that enhance transparency and verification processes. These innovations make it easier to monitor treaty compliance and ensure that nations adhere to their disarmament pledges. Their work is vital in building trust among nations, a cornerstone for any successful disarmament process. Ordinary citizens are far from bystanders in this scenario. Through advocacy, public demonstrations, and electoral participation, they can influence governmental policies. Grassroots movements and educational campaigns also play a crucial role in spreading awareness about the risks of nuclear weapons and the importance of disarmament. As we navigate through these turbulent times, the collective action of governments, communities, and individuals points us towards a safer, more secure world. Change is not only necessary, it is possible. Now, more than ever, your voice matters. As we've navigated the somber realities of a world post-nuclear conflict, the imperative to act is undeniable. Engage with and support movements and organizations tirelessly working towards nuclear disarmament. Educate yourself on the policies that advocate peace and safety over destruction. Every petition signed, every peaceful protest attended, and every vote cast for non-proliferation is a step towards peace. Your involvement makes a crucial difference. Join us in the fight for a future where humanity flourishes, not flounders.